Hello friends, today in this tutorial we will be looking at how to generate a select drop down of all the countries inside the world here. So a total of 196 countries are there inside the world. So if you click this create select button, so it will create a select list here, and you can see it will contain all the countries which are there inside the world here. So basically we are simply doing a simple AJAX get request to a Excel file, and we are using that Excel file as an API, and we are converting it to a JSON response. So this JSON response, you can see, is it coming it inside this browser console. So it contains all these countries from 0 to 99. Each country is having the country name and the country code. Andorra AD, you will now see this is Afghanistan AF. So all these countries are returned to us inside the array of objects here. You will see we are looping through each object here. This is we are just looping through all the objects, and we are printing the country name inside this select list. You will now see Andorra, Afghanistan. You will see that. So in many times we need require the select drop down of all the countries. Basically, if you're building any sort of application, so this is very useful application. So let me show you the Excel file that we are using for this purpose. So this Excel file is hosted on the internet. So let me open this Excel file and show to you. So if you just open this Excel file in the browser, this is the Excel file. It will get downloaded, and this is the country list Excel file. If you open this with Microsoft Excel, so you can see it will contain all the country names alongside with the country code. So we are using it Excel file as an API. You can even use Excel file, Excel sheets as an API for our application. So these two properties are there, country name and country code. Andorra, Afghanistan, you can now see. So if you want the full source code of this application, guys, I have given the full source code on my blog post, which is Web Ninja Developer. So if you want to get all the source code, basically let me give the source code here in the live chat. So this is a blog post you can follow step by step in order to download all the source code. So I have given this in the live chat here. So just download all the source code. A step-by-step blog post is written here alongside with all the instructions. So let's start building this application, guys, where we dynamically generate all the countries. So first of all, just create a simple file here, which will be select.html. So here we will be changing the title to select drop down countries generator in JavaScript. So after this, guys, we will have a simple button here. Basically, inside this div, we will have a simple input type will be of button, and the value will be simply create select. And after this, we will have a simple div, and here we will be having a class of countries. So here we will be populating the select list, which will be automatically generated. So if you open this with live server, you will now see there is a single button out there which is create select. So if you click this button, this select list will be generated. So now we need to write the CSS styling for this. So just put a style tag here, and we will now style this input field. So we just need to give it a fixed width of 200 pixel and a height of 40 pixel. And we also need to style the div. So we will giving a width of 200 pixel and a margin 20 pixel auto. And we will also be basically targeting the select field. It will be giving a fixed width of 200 pixel and a height of 30 pixels. So this is all the CSS which is required for this application. So if you now do it, it will be centered on the screen, create select all these elements. So now we need to write the JavaScript for this application. So just make the script.js file, or simply change it to select.js, include this file. So here you need to create a brand new file here, which will be select.js. So what we need to do is that inside this file, guys, so you need to import two libraries. For doing this, you also require jQuery as well as this library. I have given all these libraries in the description of this video in the blog post. Simply paste the CDN of both these libraries, which is jQuery and XLXX. This is required for exporting your Excel file to JSON object. So inside we need to simply first of all make a get request to the Excel file. So here the Excel file is hosted, guys, so we need to copy paste the URL of where the Excel file is hosted. So similarly, you can take any Excel file of your choice which is hosted on the internet, and this is a Excel file, guys. So now when we click this button, so we need to bind a on click event handler to it. So when we click this button here, basically this is a callback function will execute here, and we need to basically write this custom function which will generate the select drop down for us. So here we need to pass the URL that we have defined at the very top. So we need to write this function now, which is generate countries select. So the URL will be passed as a query. So now we need to use some AJAX, guys. So we need to send a simple GET request to that Excel file. So we will simply say here const request, and this will be equal to new XML HTTP request object. So, and after this we need to simply open a new method here, which will be a get method in this case. And here we will be telling we need to put it to the URL that we have defined here, and the last parameter should be true. And then, guys, what we need to say is that we need to set the response type, and we need to set the response type to equal to array buffer. So this needs to be equal to array buffer in this case, because we are dealing with Excel files, so that's why this needs to be array buffer. And then basically whenever the request is loaded, this callback function will execute. This e parameter will automatically get passed, and now we need to send this request. So in order to send the request, we will use the send method. This will actually send the request, send the AJAX request here. So this will send the actual request, guys. So now inside this onload, we need to define what happens. So we need to simply declare a data variable here. And first of all, we need to convert this response to a u integer 8 array. So we need to convert this. So whatever response is coming, so we can get the response using request or response. So after this, we will be targeting the various workbooks which are available, guys. We can target this using this third party library, which is XLS. And here we can use the read method. And here we can read the data which is returned to us. And the type will be, in this case, will be equal to array. And the next thing, guys, we need to do is that basically we need to target the first sheet here. Target the first sheet inside the Excel file. So if you don't know about sheet, guys, basically in Excel file there are multiple sheets out there. So by default it will be available in the first sheet. So we need to target the first sheet name. So this will be equal to the workbook, and there is a method out there which is called as sheet names. And here we need to pass the reference. So this 0 represents the first sheet name because indexing starts from 0 in programming, so that's why. And now we need to get worksheet underscore raw, and here you can simply say workbook dot sheets, and here we need to pass the first sheet name that we have inside square bracket. After this, guys, we will simply get the Excel data from this xlx.utils. This is a method that is there, and this contains a method which is sheet underscore to underscore JSON. So this is the actual method, guys, which will convert the Excel data which is present inside this file. If you see here, basically we have this file here. This contains this Excel data, tabular data. It will convert this to a JSON data that we can display it in the browser. So here we need to pass the worksheet raw. So after this, guys, if you see now, if you simply console log the Excel data, this is a data which is coming. If you just console it log on the browser, basically it will be an array of records. So if you just refresh it now, open with live server, and if I go to inspect element, go to console here, click on this element, now you will see that let me see what I think we haven't attached this on click. So I need to give it a input. Yeah, we need to give it a ID to this input field. So ID input. So now it will work. So go to the console here. Click on the select element. Now you will see that 242 records will be returned to us inside the JSON object. So each object is having two properties, country and country code. So now we need to dynamically insert these values inside a select list. So this can be done it very easily. And after getting this response, we will simply use a for loop. So here we can simply, first of all, construct the select element here by using the jQuery selector. So this will be a select list. We will be giving an ID to it of country. And after this ID country, and we will also be giving a class to it of demo drop down. So these class is not mandatory. So this is the thing, guys. We have defined our select list. So now what we need to do is that we need to define a simple for loop. So simple for loop I is equal to 0, and it will run until all the records are done. So Excel data, this is an array here. So basically we need to find the length of the array. So we will use dot length I plus plus. So in each iteration of this loop, we need to simply construct the country. We need to extract the country. So here we can simply say Excel data slash I, and there is a property called as country like this. So we will extract the country name. So now we need to insert it inside the select list. So we will construct an option. Value will be equal to, or we can simply use a template string here. Option value will be equal to is equal to the country, and then we need to close out this option. Here also we need to say the country, and now we need to append this, guys. We will use the append to method. Append to method. So basically here we need to append to the select element. That's it. So after this, guys, we need to also append this select element, which is select append to. So here we will be selecting the countries we have. If you select, you can see we have given the class countries here. So in jQuery, for classes we write dot symbol. For IDs we write this symbol. So here we will write dot countries. So if you refresh it now, your application, if you click the select button, so this select list will be created, guys. It will contain all the countries. You will see that which are there inside the world here. So in this way, you can easily construct a select drop down which will contain all the countries in the world using an Excel file as an API. So you can use the Excel files, guys, for API purposes also. If you don't want to construct a API by using backend code, you can just create an Excel file and use it as a API. Just host this Excel file on an internet. So it needs to be hosted on internet so that you can call this Excel file as an API. This is the simplest of projects that we have made here. So if you're watching it for the very first time, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel. And if you want the full source code, I have given all the source code in the description of the live stream. So thank you very much for watching this video.